Hello learners, welcome to today's session. I'm your instructor Brian, and today we are going to talk about forms of business units as a topic in Form 2 Business Studies. So by the end of this topic, you should be able to identify the various forms of business units, explain the characteristics of each form of business unit, discuss the formation and management of each form of business unit. You should also be able to discuss the sources of capital of each form of business unit, discuss the role of stock exchange as a market of security, explain the advantages and disadvantages of each form of business unit, recognize the circumstances under which each form of business unit may be dissolved, and lastly, you should be able to discuss the trends in business ownership. So basically, we're going to look at one form of business unit, and that is sole proprietorship. So first of all, what is a business unit? So a business unit is an organization formed by one or more people with a view of engaging in a profitable activity. So today we are going to talk about sole proprietorship as a form of business unit. So first, what is a sole proprietorship? So sole proprietorship, this is a business enterprise owned by one person who is called a sole trader or a sole proprietor. It is the most common form of business unit and usually found in retail trade. For example, in small shops, kiosks, agriculture, and many others. So what are the characteristics of sole proprietorship as a form of business unit? One, the business is owned by one person. Just from the definition, you have realized that sole proprietorship is a business which is being carried out by one person. So one of its features is that the business is owned by one person. The second feature is that the capital is contributed by the owner and is usually small. So in order to start a sole proprietorship, you are required to raise a small amount of capital as compared to other forms of business unit. The main source is from his savings, the person now starting the business, and other sources can be from friends, banks, or getting an inheritance. The third feature is that the owner enjoys all the profit alone and also suffers the losses alone. Since this business is owned by one person, the owner is the one who will enjoy the profits and the losses alone. The fourth feature is that the owner is personally responsible for the management of the business, and sometimes he is assisted by members of his family or a few employees. So this type of business does not require many people to run it. So the owner can just do it alone or get assistance from family members or even employ a few people to help him or her in the business. The fifth feature is that the sole proprietor has unlimited liability. So what do we mean by having unlimited liability? That is, in case of failure to meet the debts, his creditors can claim his personal property. So in case you are not able to pay your creditors, they could come and take your personal properties to settle their debts. Okay, the sixth feature is that there are few legal requirements to start the business. So in order to start this business, the government will not require you to have a lot of documentation in order to start this type of business. You will only be required to have a few documentations. The last one, sole proprietorship, is flexible. It is very easy to change the location or the nature of business. So those people who are operating in sole proprietorship, you can find that someone is selling mandazi today And tomorrow, this person is even selling other types of products, for example, eggs. So he or she can switch from one type of product to another since the business is small in nature. So how is a sole proprietorship being formed? The formation of a sole proprietorship is very simple. Few legal formalities are required. For example, to start a sole proprietorship, one needs only to raise the capital required and then apply for a trading license to operate the business. Small fee is paid and the trade license issued. So we are going to check also the source of capital to start and run a sole proprietorship. So you will realize that the amount of capital required to start a sole proprietorship is small compared to other forms of business organizations. Just as we have learned above, we have realized that the amount of capital required to start and run a sole proprietorship is very small. So what are the main sources of capital for sole proprietorship? So the first one is owner saving, of which is the main source of capital. Uh, we can also have some other sources of capital. Uh, the next one, rather than the owner saving, the owner can also borrow from friends, banks, and other money lending institutions. The third source of capital, we have inheritance. We also have personal savings. We have getting goods on credit. You could buy goods in credit from suppliers, then you sell them. So after you've sold the goods is when you can make payment to the suppliers. So that one could also be a source of capital to the business. So we can also have getting goods on hire purchase, where you pay a certain amount and the supplier delivers the goods to you. So after selling the goods is when you will pay the remaining amount. So we can also get capital from leasing or renting out one's properties. You can even rent your house or land in order to get capital. We have donations from friends and relatives. And lastly, we can plow back profit. So you can realize that after conducting a business, you could get some profit. So instead of investing this or using this money, which you realized as profit in other activities, you can bring it back into your business where you can use it to buy more products or restock your business in order to continue with the business. So that one could also be a source of capital to the business. So what are the advantages of a sole proprietorship? The first one, the capital required to start the business is small, hence everybody who can spare small amounts of money can start one. So the second advantage of a sole proprietorship is that there are few legal formalities or procedures required to start and run this business. The third one, decision making and implementation is fast because the proprietor does not have to consult anybody. Since the ownership of this business, the owner is one person, he or she is able to make decisions very fast since you are not required to consult anyone in order to arrive at a final decision. You make your decisions alone and you implement them immediately. The fourth advantage is that the trader has close and personal contact with customers. And the importance of this is that it helps them in knowing exactly what the customers need and hence satisfy the needs. Uh, we have the fifth advantage of a sole proprietorship is that a sole proprietor is able to assess the credit worthiness of his or her customers because of the close personal relationship. Extending credit to a few carefully selected customers reducing the probability of bad debts. Since you are always in contact with your customers, you know them very well, and you could notice those customers who could pay if they take goods on credit, or those customers who will not be able to pay if they take goods on credit. So the sixth advantage is that the trader is accountable to him or herself. The seventh advantage is that a sole trader is able to keep the top secrets of the business operation. This one is coming because the owner of the business is one person and is not sharing the secrets or the information from the business with other people. So the secrets of this business could be kept high. So the eighth advantage is that the owner of the business enjoys all the profits alone. So in case you've realized some profits in your sole proprietorship, you are just going to enjoy the profit alone since you are the one who is owning the business. You are not sharing with others. So the ninth advantage is that a sole proprietor is flexible. For instance, one can change the nature of the nature or even the location of the business as need arises. So what are the disadvantages of sole proprietorship? The first one, sole proprietorship has an unlimited liabilities. And what do we mean when we say unlimited liabilities? This means that if the assets available in the business are not enough to pay all the business debts, the personal properties of the owner, such as house, will be sold to meet the debts. The second disadvantage is that there is insufficient capital for expansion because of scarce resources and lack of access to other sources. Uh, the third disadvantage is that he or she, the owner, is overworked and has no time for recreation. Since you are the person who is managing and owning and also doing all the activities of this business, you leave a little time for recreation. The fourth disadvantage is that there is lack of continuity in the sole proprietorship. For example, the business is affected by sickness or death of the owner. Since the owner is the one who is operating this business alone, in case you are sick, the business will close up. Yeah. The fifth disadvantage, is that a sole proprietor may not benefit from advantages realized by large-scale enterprises. For example, economies of scale, such accesses to loan facilities and large trade discounts. So, since the business is small and require little capital to start, there are some benefits which large businesses do enjoy, and you as a sole proprietor, you cannot enjoy since your business is small. The sixth disadvantage is that there is lack of specialization in running of the business, and this may lead to poor performance. This is because one person cannot manage all aspects of the business effectively. One may be a good salesman, for example, but a poor accountant. So how could a sole proprietorship be dissolved? So what could lead to the dissolution of a sole proprietorship? So number one, dissolution. What is dissolution first? Dissolution refers to the termination of the legal life of a business. So the following circumstances may lead to the dissolution of a sole proprietorship. The first one, in case of death or insanity of the owner. Since the owner is the one who is taking care of the business, in case he or she dies, business may close up or come to an end. The second one, transfer of the business to another person. This transfers the rights and obligations of the business to the new owner. The third one is bankruptcy of the owner. This means that the owner lacks the financial capability to run the business. So mostly we use finance to run businesses. And in case the owner does not have the capability of raising capital or finance to run the business may close down. The fifth cause of dissolution of a sole proprietorship is that the owner voluntarily decides to dissolve the business, e.g. due to continued loss making. So in case the owner realizes that he or she is not making any profit,